Ladies and gentlemen, last night the Mavericks got the dub in game number 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. So, we are now Boston 1-up on Indy, and now the Dallas Mavericks are 1-up on, obviously, the Minnesota Timberwolves as well. So, those are what's happening around the NBA in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference Finals. But we also have a very quick information of news before we hop into our breakdown of this EA Sports news that we're going to go over for College Football 25. That just happened on Tuesday. We got a lot more coverage that we got to talk about this game. From Dynasty Mode, obviously, the helmets being knocked off, all of that stuff is going to be covered in today's video, so stay tuned, because you're not going to want to miss this one. But, before we hop in, let's go ahead and talk about the Cavaliers, as they have officially fired J.B. Bickerstaff after 5 years from Woj himself. They obviously made the Eastern Conference semifinals this past year, and obviously, they have now dismissed J.B. Bickerstaff on behalf of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I'm not sure why they have dismissed him. He obviously, like I said, made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals in the last 6 seasons with that Cavs team. I think it's just a matter of they're not taking that next step, so that's probably why that they fired him, and so they can find a coach who will take them to that next step. But really quickly, that is pretty much all we have for news so far. There's not really a whole lot going on in and around the world of sports. Most people are still getting hyped for EA College Football 25. So like I said, we got some news that we're going to go ahead and break down. Let's go ahead and break it all down right now. Alright, so I'm going to run through all of these bullet points, and then I'm going to talk about them in a separate, I guess you would say, kind of snippet of this video part. So what I'm going to do right now, currently run through all of them, and then we'll talk about the ones that I feel like are most important to the gameplay. So, according to Mike Straw Media, these are some notes he's gotten for EA College Football 25, and we're still getting information regarding the game because the full reveal trailer obviously was last week, but we have not gotten gameplay footage yet, so we are supposedly getting that in the next coming weeks, but let's go ahead and break it down right now. Starting with, there will be no crossplay for Online Dynasty. I'll talk about that one in a second. No mascot mode for EA College Football 25. I think that's fine. Gameplay will be much faster than Madden, and obviously that's going to be kind of one of the things that defers the college game from the NFL game as well. So we'll break that one down here in a second as well. Helmets may get knocked off, like I said earlier. That would be very interesting to see. There will be no BCS option for Dynasty Mode, no college game day, custom playbooks, gameplay footage coming soon is what he says. No ESPN license or scoreboard, which is kind of a devastating point for me, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But there will be a ticker at the bottom of the screen. I'm wondering what that ticker would be. Maybe like a play clock or something like that, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. 5-star players will feel completely different than 2-star players, and I'll explain what that means here in a second. And then the last one is that there will be way more equipment that you guys will see used in this college football game rather than Madden. So that is what he obviously said about the game. Now let's go ahead and break it down, the points of his emphasis for each of those things. Alright, so I'm going to break them down one by one. So starting off, no cross-play for Online Dynasty. I think that's totally fine. Especially with the game, where that game is at this point in time, there's going to be a lot of people playing Online Dynasty when that game comes out. Yes, it's going to be up to 32 people, but having it not crossplay is probably one of the better options for this game, just to keep their kind of realm within their certain console that they have. So, if you guys want to play it with your friends, then you're obviously going to have to get the same console that they have. That is kind of a bummer, but other than that, I think it's completely fine. No mascot mode, I'm okay with that one as well. I did not particularly love the mascot mode back in 2014. I also didn't really play the game back in 2014, but I am assuming that within these next couple of iterations of college football video games, like 26 and 27, then they will add mascot mode within the games. But for now, that's completely fine with me. They're just trying to get the basics out for college football and stuff like that. Gameplay will be much faster than Madden, and I personally really like this one. This one is one of the key features that I've been talking about here. I think that it's important to the college game that gameplay is a lot faster than Madden NFL. They like to slow the pace down a little bit, right? There's no one catch thing. There's obviously not that kind of stuff. There's not the clock keeps running. The clock stops after every first down that you get in the NFL. So that is pretty much why gameplay is probably going to be much faster. And then there's really no 2-minute warning now. I think they're adding the 2-minute warning in this game, if I'm not mistaken, because of the new rules from this next year, that they're adding the 2-minute warning in real life. So I think that would have been it. But previously, there was no 2-minute warning for college. And that's kind of how college differed from that NFL thing. And Madden, how this is going to differ from Madden, I assume. But I'm not sure. That could be a point of emphasis for that one as well. Helmets getting knocked off is the next one. I really like this one by EA. I feel like that is very similar to the college game. In the NFL, you can't do that. Your helmet, if a helmet gets knocked off, then that player is fine. But right now, currently, I do like that one. I'm very excited to see helmets get knocked off, if, in fact, they do get knocked off. Next one is no BCS option for Dynasty. Guys, we're in a new era here. We're in the college football playoff era. We're not even in 4 teams anymore. We're in 12 teams. So no BCS would obviously be a point of emphasis for that as well. We are 2 generations ahead of that BCS time with that 4-team playoff and, of course, the BCS championship game once it expanded to 4 teams. So now with the 12-team playoff, there's no reason to have the BCS option in there for Dynasty as well. No college game day and no ESPN license. I'll go ahead and talk about those two. I'm kind of devastated that there's not going to be any college game day. I think that's part of the college thing, is that they have that pregame show for a reason. Maybe they'll add it in other iterations of this game, but for college game day itself, I think that's part of the show's. Part of the tradition in college football is people waking up early to watch the 9 a.m. College game day show with Kirk Herbstreit, Reese Davis, all of those guys, and there. But having that not in this game, I feel like takes away a little bit from that college thing, but it is fine. It's a video game for right now. Maybe they'll add it within the iteration. And then no ESPN license or scoreboard. Personally, I think it's going to be EA Sports, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've been hearing as well. So that's kind of a bummer, maybe within the next iterations. But if they did have to license to EA or to ESPN, then they would have to listen to ESPN and what they wanted and stuff like that as well. Now, moving on, custom playbooks. There will be custom playbooks that you can create, which I think is going to be a fantastic option. Finally, we got our last 3 things. There will be a ticker at the bottom of the screen. So obviously that is going to be a good thing as well, kind of show you guys how the clock runs and stuff like that. 5-star players feeling completely different than 2-star players. That's going to be great to see as well. For example, Cam Coleman's going to be better or feel better to use than the 2-star wide receiver at Southern Miss, right? They're going to feel a lot more different. And then way more equipment than Madden is having. I think that just shows you how the college game has expanded now. And I think that equipment thing is part of the college game and how they run practice every week and stuff like that. So that is all the news that we got, and that is my opinion on the news. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Anyway, that is where I'm going to hop off for today. Of course, if you haven't already, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn that bell on. We do our best to post on this channel every single day. Next week may or may not look a little bit different. I'm very, very busy with work next week. I'm doing long shifts next week, because the week after that, I'm going on vacation for another week for camp and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to get pre-recorded interviews done next week with these football players that I have said. So be on the lookout for those as well. Trying to get that done with all of them this week or next week so we can have them ready for the week where I go on vacation. But that is, of course, where I'm going to hop off, get this ended on time. I think there's a game tonight in the NBA. I think Boston plays Indy in game number 2 of the series. Could be mistaken. Don't know for a fact, so don't quote me on that one. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, I will see you all in tomorrow's Franchise Friday. Peace.